Now, here, let's just run through the Kamala Harris economic record. And I'm going to try not to depress everybody too much because Kamala Harris's economic record is depressing, my friends. We've got inflation at 40-year highs. We've got groceries that are 25% higher than Kamala Harris when she took office. And that's because Kamala Harris cast the tie-breaking vote on almost $4 trillion of new spending, printing money that we don't have to juice inflation and destroy the middle class in the state of Pennsylvania. Thanks to Kamala Harris, eggs are about 115% higher. That's more than double the price than when she took office. And I got 3 little kids, my friends. We buy a lot of eggs. So I'm pretty pissed off at Kamala Harris over the price of eggs. When Kamala Harris took office, since then, 3.5 years, gas prices have gone up 35%. Energy has gone up 40%. And it's not just Kamala Harris's terrible economy, of course. It is the wide open southern border. The border czar caused it, and we can't let him forget it. That's exactly right. It is an invasion of this country. And we can't let folks forget that it is deeply connected to what's going on when it comes to the economy. What's going on at the border is deeply connected to what's going on. Now, think about this. When you let in 25 million people, many of whom are bringing fentanyl into this country, and they're competing against Americans buying homes that ought by right go to American citizens. That is why we have skyrocketing housing costs in the state of Pennsylvania and all across our country. So here's our message to Kamala Harris and the 25 million illegal aliens she has let park in the United States of America. In 6 months, pack your bags because you're going home. That's right. We're going to build the wall. We're going to re-implement deportations, and we're going to go to war against the Mexican drug cartels. No more bringing this poison into our country. They got to get the hell out. Now, it is funny to me because Kamala Harris, she doesn't have an ounce of proposal or an ounce of plan. Now, I've only been in politics a couple of years, so maybe, my friends, I'm just not shameless enough to stand before a crowd and do what Kamala Harris does. Because she has been the vice president for 3.5 years. And she'll say to a crowd without an ounce of humility or shame, on day one, we're going to tackle the wide open southern border. On day one, she'll say, we're going to make groceries and housing more affordable for American citizens. Well, Kamala, day one was 1,400 days ago. What the hell have you been doing? Stop talking about what you're going to do and go and do it. Now, I think that the thing that Kamala Harris and the Democrats say that bothers me the most is when they talk about how they allegedly stand for working people in the middle class. We know that's not true, right? If she stood for the middle class, why did she suspend deportations and open up the American southern border? If she stands for the middle class, why did she fire thousands and hundreds of thousands of people for refusing to take the COVID vaccine a few years ago? If she stands for the middle class, why does she want to tax the middle class in this country to give rich people money to buy electric vehicles made in China? That doesn't make any sense, does it? If she stood for the middle class, why is she trying to destroy the Pennsylvania energy industry? If you stand for the middle class, unleash Pennsylvania energy workers. Let's do it for our own people and our own citizens. Now, it's funny, she has, I will say this, She recognizes how unpopular her actual governance is. She recognizes how unpopular her record is, so she's running away from it every chance she gets. Now, she's on camera saying she wanted to ban fracking, but now she says, oh, I didn't mean it. She's on camera saying that she wanted to give illegal aliens Medicare, which would bankrupt that program, but now she says, no, I didn't mean it. Kamala Harris said on tape, that she wanted to ban all private health insurance, but now she said, no, I take that back. And of course, she said she wanted to defund the police, but that too, she now pretends she didn't actually believe. You know, Kamala, if you support fracking, if you support the police, if you support lower prices, and you want to close down the southern border, you're welcome to endorse Donald J. Trump. All of us have done it, and you're welcome to join the team. Now, I actually joke with the president. I say, sir, she is copying every single one of your positions. She's not doing it, to be clear. She's not actually governing that way. But I say, sir, she is so obsessed with pretending that she agrees with you on all these issues, I think she's going to show up to her next rally with a red MAGA hat. She's going to steal one of your hats back there. Because here's the thing, Kamala Harris recognizes the American people have common sense. Kamala Harris recognizes the people of Pennsylvania have common sense, and she is lying because she recognizes that people of common sense are going to reject Kamala Harris and her failed policies and her failed governance, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it together. Now, look, part of the reason I think that Kamala Harris it's so disgraceful when they say that their policies work for the middle class. And part of the reason I get so frustrated by that is because I grew up in a family that was affected by the kind of failed policies enacted by Kamala Harris. Now, I remember when my grandmother and I were really tight with money. We didn't have a whole lot extra to spend. And it got very cold in the middle of a cold Ohio winter. And my grandmother would say, you know, we just don't have enough money to turn on the heat tonight. And I think about a lot of Pennsylvania families out there who are going to go through a cold winter in a couple of months. And I happen to believe whether you're rich or poor, if you work hard and play by the rules, you ought to be able to turn your heat on in the middle of a cold winter night. I remember when my grandmother would negotiate with somebody from Meals on Wheels to try to get a little bit of extra food so that she could share it with me. And I happen to believe that if you work hard and play by the rules, you ought to be able to afford a nice meal for your family, but a lot of families can't. But a lot of families can't because of the policies of Kamala Harris. And I happen to believe that whether you're rich or poor, the sacred right of every American citizen, and most importantly, every American child, is to grow up in security and safety in their own neighborhoods, which means kicking out the illegal aliens and kicking out the drug dealers that have made our streets